Great to be here with you today. This is the last of 4 Future Stacks that we've done in New York, Sydney, Melbourne, and now here in London. So it's been a great tour. Great to be here with you today. It's incumbent upon me to just, before I introduce a couple of guests, to talk to us about some of their journey. Just to say a huge debt of gratitude and thanks to you as our customers. We are firmly of the opinion that your success is our success, and your ability to drive change in the eyes of your customers and to deliver better customer experiences are going to reflect well on us ultimately. And as part of that, and again, thank you for taking the time out today. Hopefully that's been valuable so far, and I'm acutely aware that I'm between you and lunch. So we'll keep this as focused and efficient as possible. The first thing I wanted to say is that we think about 3 things when we work with you. We talk about being the best platform, and hopefully what you've heard this morning from Ken in terms of Relic One, the world's first observability platform that's open, connected, and programmable. You're seeing remarkable innovation that you can hopefully go away from today and actually apply to your business, change the way that your business operates, and lead some form of transformation, trying not to use that D word again. And secondly, we see ourselves as being the best partner. I'm fortunate enough to lead an organization at New Relic and be part of this amazing team that wakes up every day thinking about your success. And we talk about our passion for customer success creates lifelong advocates for New Relic. And that's really what we're here to do with you. And hopefully you've heard from the product team this morning, the innovations on the platform. We're here to help you as well as taking advantage of those when you go back to your offices and go back to your jobs. But really, that's all in support of being able to deliver better value for you. And I believe there's no better way to explain how we deliver value than to invite 2 of our great customers to the stage. So I'd like you to join me in welcoming Leonard and Kränzle to the stage, please. Gentlemen, please come up and join me. Hey, welcome. Hey, Taras. Welcome, guys, and thanks for taking the time out today to join us for 20 minutes just to talk a little bit about some of your experiences. I'm going to start, Taras, with you, if I may. Thanks again for being an amazing customer to us. Amazing what you've been doing with our technology, and we're excited about some of the transformation that you're driving within MAN, a truck and bus, which is a fairly traditional enterprise customer who's going through a significant amount of business model change. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the company, your role, and what brought somebody with your experience and background to a company like MAN?
All right, thanks. First of all, for having me here. Maybe a question to all of you who knows MAN Truck and Bus. All right, I'll keep it short then. MAN Truck and Bus is a leading provider for commercial vehicles. We have production sites in Poland, Germany, Austria, and also Russia, Turkey, and South Africa. We provide solutions ranging for broad portfolio, ranging from transporters, buses, trucks, and also solutions how to deliver goods. So a little bit about myself. I'm a product owner at MAN, so I started in 2017. I work in the area of connectivity and IoT, where I develop software together with my team for internal end users. So what I really liked at the beginning was that the demands change and everything is changing rapidly, not only in the economy, but also demands from the end users. And we need to keep pace with that. We need to increase every time what we are doing. And with that being said, our promise to customers is to simplify their business. Mm-hmm. So what I like to do is to simplify their business, and I do that together.
That's interesting, and maybe we can delve into that a little bit more. I would imagine, I mean, your equipment that your customers are using are thousands and tens of thousands of kilos. So how do you enhance the experience they have with your product through digital?
Yeah, to get back, okay, we have a wide portfolio, and this wide portfolio is really heavy, and once something is lacking or missing in terms of quality or safety, goods are damaged, people are damaged, so we need to make sure to improve constantly on quality and safety. And we are not only able to do that within the production, but also with digital solutions along the whole production and also for the transport solutions area. Yeah.
So I would imagine you're about building a high degree of trust with your customers as well.
Yes,
so
yes.
more information and data you can get back, that's going to serve your service to them better, I would imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
Pretty much, yeah.
Philip, I'd love to bring you into the conversation. Again, thank you for being an amazing customer to us. Very different organization to MAN.
That's right.
You're a much smaller, born in the cloud, born digital organization, disrupting an industry and driving different customer experiences. So maybe just tell us a little bit about your role, the company Picnic, so the audience understands a little bit better the context of our conversation.
Sure, yeah. I'm Phil Leonard. I'm a tech lead and back-end developer at Picnic. And Picnic are, well, how to put this without saying that we're not the Ocado of the Netherlands, but we are the Ocado of the Netherlands. And yeah, what we do is we try and make grocery shopping affordable, quick and cheap for our customers. And that means that everything is, like I say, it's born in digital, it's all online. You use the mobile app to place your orders. And what we need to do at Picnic is, one of our great challenges is obviously in growth. We're trying to grow, we're trying to expand internationally. And in order to do that, what we need is like this platform that allows us to keep track, to keep an eye essentially on the performance of our applications, or the performance of our business in total, over an ever-expanding region. And to dive into a little bit what Picnic does, we are, well, as I said, an online supermarket. Essentially, what that means is that we order based on our customers' ordering habits. We place those orders in advance to our suppliers, and so that means that for us, forecasting is pretty much everything. We need forecast accuracy. We need to know exactly what our customers are going to order before they even place it into their basket, because we need to make the supply chain that we own. So we own the supply chain all the way from the national distribution centers to fulfillment centers, to local hubs and our own fleet of EPV, or electric powered vehicles. And what we need to do is optimize that entire supply chain, and we do that all through using technology.
And I understand you're a technical lead in the organization, but you're also developing the technology yourself. You're a developer as well.
Yes, that's right.
And I believe you participated in a session. Well, we heard earlier today from Ken. I should sort of stand back for a second. We heard earlier today from Ken around some of the programmability capability of the new Relic One platform, which is pretty exciting. And Jemiah showed us some amazing open source applications. I believe you guys have been involved in some of those programmability hackathons and have also experimented with New Relic One to build your own applications. And you've put some stuff in production, I understand.
Yes,
so
right.
why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've done and what the application does and the value that it brings to you?
Yeah, sure. So not too long ago, about a month ago, Jemiah onboarded us to Programmability and New Relic One. And in that time, we were able to bring a dashboard based on, I would like to take full...
I think we can show it as well.
We can even show it, exactly.
Yep.
So as I mentioned before, forecasting accuracy is everything in Picnic. So here we can see are our fulfillment centers in Germany and the Netherlands. And what those green blobs mean is that essentially the health in terms of how we forecasted for our customer orders. So of course we place those orders ahead of time to our suppliers based on what our customers have ordered in the past. And the live data that we then get back in is the availability information from our customer's perspective. So if they're able to add a product to their basket or whether it's out of stock and we misforecasted. So what this tells us that at every fulfillment center over the entire area, we can boil down into one fulfillment center and identify availability problems. We can identify where we made mistakes in the forecasting. So we can say, okay, well, for this supplier, we just misforecasted, so we just gave them the wrong information. Our ahead of time order was just incorrect. Or we can identify whether or not a supplier has a broader issue with their ability to fulfill our orders. And yeah, I would like to take full responsibility for this application, but it's actually built entirely on an open source example from the programmability example that we saw actually before from that Jemiah presented. So I think that's one of the real great powers of programmability is that you don't have to make it yourself. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can take an open source example that someone else has developed, and you can simply adjust it or tweak it to your exact needs. And it took a very short amount of time to do that for this application.
I mean, that's remarkable, and it's great to hear that you're experiencing what the message we try to convey this morning, just how easy this is to do. More generally, what were your experiences in building on New Relic One?
So as a back-end developer, it was kind of liberating to be given a programming interface to create a dashboard. That's something that is completely new to me. And even though I'm a back-end developer, I'm not a front-end developer. JavaScript and React Native was really, really nice to use. I did have to brush up on that because of the nature of my job. But yeah, it was super simple to dive in and to create stuff that was actually going to deliver business value immediately.
Right. You know, it's been a great joy for us partnering with you on developing some of that.
Yeah.
And just in the same way that we partnered with Picnic, I want to make the offer to everybody in the audience here. If you need any help in deploying some of these open source applications or building your own, we have an entire technical organization here in EMEA who's only too happy to help you in the same way we helped Picnic. Talk to me just very briefly how that's building an application like the one we see on the screen here has transformed the way that you work with your colleagues, with the users of the application. Now that they're getting real-time data and insights through this application front end, how's that transformed your relationship?
Yeah, quite significantly, because we've had the process where this data was available to analysts within the company for a while. So they've been able to see availability information for our fulfillment centers for some time. But there's a window that they were always missing, and that is the live metrics, essentially the live data. So that's approximately about a day's worth of data. And that's the kind of data that we can now talk to the analysts. We can enter a discussion with them to identify issues, not just a day later, but as they're happening. So that immediately delivers great business value. And they're also already familiar with the concept of what we're trying to achieve with this dashboard. So we're essentially just taking what they already used to and then plotting it into real time. And yeah, as I said, it's opened up the conversation massively between us and analysts in our company.
That's awesome. I would imagine it takes you away from the conversation of technology for technology's sake, and it's all very tied to the business outcomes and the impact on the business, which is great. Taras, maybe if I can turn to you, and I'll come back to you, Philip, on the same question here. Is I want to just focus a little bit on your roles, and the two of you have very different roles, come from very different organizations, as we said up front. Taras, you're a product owner from MAN. Talk to us a little bit about the importance and the power of a programmable platform for from a product owner's perspective.
It's a good question, yeah. So I said in the beginning, I work like in the IoT area and the connectivity area. And you have to imagine that we have a very broad range of stakeholders to serve. Some of them are very technical, and some of them are very business focused. And it was really hard to find a solution that could serve like the whole broadness that we have. And by using New Relic, we were able to develop a nerdlet that is very flexible, and we could create insights very easily with that. So this was a really nice moment for me to see. Yeah.
Excellent. And I appreciate you sharing some of that. I know it's you can't give all the details in terms of what you've built for your business. Philip, to yourself as an engineer, as a technical lead, talk to your experiences in that role of a programmable platform.
Yeah, so from my side, as a back-end developer, initially, it's obviously really empowering to have such an interface to use. And often, if you're working on especially back-end systems, you don't have that visibility. You can't actually visualize the processes within your application. Yeah. But now that becomes completely possible, I think, with programmability. You can, essentially write the front-end application to give you visibility over your back-end application with relative ease. Which is really nice. There's a platform for it. The infrastructure is already there, all made for you. So yeah, it's another powerful thing that I found is that, of course, a lot of these components you can create yourself. You can use JavaScript. You can use React components from anywhere around, from any frameworks that you would like. But also, all of the existing charts are already there for you in the interface itself. So actually, you don't need to go and reinvent the wheel. Yeah. When you actually just need, one custom component and then a set of typical New Relic One charts that you've already used to. Yeah. And for that reason, you end up focusing on only the stuff you actually need to customize. Right. And for that, it's really powerful.
So technically, a really low barrier to ramping to get value out of this.
Yeah.
And I hear from so many customers the power of being able to build something that makes sense for your business. and allows you to embed some of these real-time insights into your workflows in the way that you run the business and you visualize the business.
Yeah.
Before I come back to you, Taras, just question to you in terms of Picnic. You're definitely disrupting a market, and you're seeing a lot of rapid growth. I'm sure a number of people here in the audience are on a similar journey. What would you share with them by way of advice, guidance, shared wisdom around the importance of observability as you've gone through your journey at Picnic?
Right. Yeah. So you can imagine the situation that if Picnic are the online counterpart to a long-standing industry, which is obviously supermarkets, and the only way really for a traditional supermarket to realize whether or not they're out of stock is just the fact, or whether or not a customer wants an item that's out of stock, is usually by just observing a customer stood by an empty shelf and cursing that there are no eggs left. And for us, this data is just ingrained into our systems. We know we can gather this data with relative ease. So we're sort of inundated with these possibilities with a long-standing industry, and how we can apply observability techniques to data that is now all of a sudden available to us. And for that, it's what I found sort of the most natural thing to do is just to take those data points and plot them. Dive into the interface itself and start playing around and start trying to plot those data points that you actually you're the first in your industry to actually be able to plot those interesting metrics.
Excellent. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Taras, MAN, a more traditional enterprise organization going through a significant amount of change in its business model. As a product owner, and I suspect there are less product owners here in the audience relative to engineers, what advice would you have to the audience in terms of working with product owners like yourself in terms of an observability platform like New Relic?
Yeah, it's for me it was really that moment, and for developers as well, to see we have that broad data which doesn't make sense in the first place since it's only data, and then giving data context enabled us to explore it and create multiple ideas, and out of ideas then we created value for end users. So that's basically what my advice would be, to inspect the data and create context, and then partner together with different stakeholders to create some value. Yeah.
Excellent. Great, thanks. One of the exciting things our group gets to do when working with the likes of yourselves and other customers is there's that moment in time in everybody's business, depending on what type of business you have, where our technology really shines through. And we talk about that as being a moment of value, sometimes a moment of truth, whether it's a digital streaming company that's involved in streaming the World Series baseball in America, or the Super Bowl in February, or it's the holiday season sales that go online with Cyber Monday. Can you each talk about a moment of value or a moment of truth that you've had in your businesses where you've seen the power of this platform really shine through? Taras, maybe start with you.
Oh, yeah. So for me, it's a really interesting story. So we had this idea. From the idea, we developed an internal product, and then we gained users, and they were starting to use it at some point daily. And after 1 or 2 months, I got the feedback from someone around the company, said, we're using this just directly after waking up, because this gives us so much value that this is the first thing we do in the morning, to check up on the dashboard to see if everything is all right. And that's a kind of moment of value that I thought, wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
That's incredible. It's becoming a daily habit. It's part of their everyday work that they do, which is awesome. Philip?
Yeah, so probably this example actually that I've created recently is just having visibility over all of your operations across 2 countries. I never really saw it before. We always do things in per account basis, so we're always actually focused on one country. But it's really nice to have the opportunity to then actually build an application that gives you entire visibility over an ever expanding company. That's really nice. And one of the surprising things was I noticed how large our German operation had grown in a short amount of time. And I think as a developer, sometimes that's information that you miss because it's you're more to the core technology, and you don't really think about, okay, how are we performing actually business-wise internationally? But it's really surprising to be able to plot it and then just go, oh, that was interesting.
Yeah, great. Well, gentlemen, thank you, both of you, very much for sharing your insights. You've been amazing customers to us. I'm sure you wouldn't mind if people approached you in the break to ask a few more questions and follow up to the discussion we've had here today. But
Sure.
Please join me in thanking Philip and Taras. Thank you, guys.